Patricia B Mitchell may just be someone who's written the most cookbooks I've ever seen. So let's go ahead and get into 2 of them, and it will also give us a really good excuse to use the cornmeal we got from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So let's go ahead and make some good food and look into these. But first, I want to show you something crazy. So yesterday here in East Tennessee, it was in the mid-60s. I think it got up to 69 actually. I was outside without a coat, just enjoying the beautiful sunshine, and now you're gonna see I'm in a coat and I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna show you why. What happened? Look at this! I was outside pruning plants yesterday. Things were in bloom, the sun was shining, it was in the 60s. It was a gorgeous day, the birds were out chirping, and then we wake up to this. It's only gonna stay for a day. You can see it's actually pretty thick, probably a couple of inches. Probably did some damage, you know, to our plants that was budding out. It is beautiful, but I kind of wish it would have come another time, like maybe during actual winter. Okay, I'm cold, so let's go ahead and go back inside. Let's make some really warm, good for you, comforting food. And here we have our odd collection of ingredients and our 2 cookbooks that we're gonna look at. We're gonna be making biscuits out of this one. This is what we're going to be making from our Southern Mountain Cooking Cookbook. I've actually never had this. I believe my mom and grandmother have, but if I have had it, I don't remember it, so I was too young. But I've never had it as an adult, and I've certainly never made it. I'm really curious. I kind of want to see what it's going to do. And I'm also very intrigued about adding some vinegar, and I'm also going to do the hard-cooked eggs with it because I think that would be really good. So let's go ahead and get our biscuits started and our bacon frying, and then we will look more into these cookbooks. Alright, let's do a status check. The biscuits actually came together really well. I was afraid I didn't have enough liquid at first, but you can see those are nice and moist. So we will go ahead and throw those in the oven in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and clean my mess, disinfect my counter, put the bacon up. I've got some more bacon frying. You can see I almost accidentally burnt it while paying way too much attention to the biscuit dough. But I have in total 6 pieces, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. You can see we've got plenty of grease in there, so I think we're going to be able to use what we have, and we will save the rest for another breakfast. I reheated the bacon grease. Let's go ahead and put just a splash of vinegar. Now, I didn't have any fresh spring onions. Mine haven't come up yet. So I went ahead and just chopped up a Vidalia onion, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the bacon grease and kind of saute that just for a little bit. Then we will be ready to pour that over our lettuce. And let's go ahead and do a biscuit check. Oh, those are looking really good. I think I'm going to let them cook in there for just a couple more minutes and they should be ready. Alright, now the recipe didn't specify how much lettuce, so we're kind of eyeballing it. And we're probably not going to use all the onions, but we will try to get all that grease out in there. Okay, I mean, it didn't wilt it a whole lot. I wonder if like we had made, well actually I don't know, it's kind of starting to, ain't it?
Yeah, it might take a minute.
So we're going to let this sit to the side for just a minute because I need to go ahead and make these eggs and get them ready. I got to crumble some bacon and we probably need to pull our biscuits out. And while we got some time, let's go ahead and look at our two little cookbooks by Patricia B Mitchell. And I'm going to guess that if any of you were road trippers, growing up, or you know, road tripping parents taking the family out on vacations and stuff, if you've ever stopped at any kind of state or national park or any kind of like historical house, I'm going to bet that you have seen at least some of this lady's cookbooks. Because I actually remember on some of my vacations in the 80s and 90s that my mom and dad took me on, that I actually remember seeing some of these myself. I never picked them up, but I kind of wished I had now. Usually her cookbooks are very niche, so she'll pick one topic and then just kind of run with it. You'll see it's got lots of information inside about all kinds of various, you know, things to do with that topic. And she also has a surprising amount of recipes inside each one, given the fact that, you know, they are quite thin, but it's actually got several things in each one that you would probably want to try. I think the Scotch shortbread would probably be very good, which we've had on the channel before. I think a lot of these, like elderberry pie, I bet's really good. I also thought this was really intriguing. Peach paper. I think that's really a cool idea, and I'd like to try it one day. You can see this one is very niche as well. It's just buckwheat and cornmeal recipes, but there's actually quite a bit in here. There's some information, of course, and then she goes into some history and, of course, your recipes, which there's quite a few in here too that I think would be really intriguing to try. So we will probably revisit this particular one again, just because there's several things in here that, oh, like that one looks really good, that I wouldn't mind putting on the channel and giving a try. One thing I do also like about her cookbooks is they're typically very reasonably priced. They're also very reasonable on her website, which I will link below. And this right here is why I think she may be one of the most prolific cookbook authors of our time. Look at how many there are to choose from. This is a huge list, and I think one of these days I will be going on her website and we're going to go through and pick some out and taste test some other little publications here, because there's quite a few in here that I actually wouldn't mind having. I like these things about the herbs. I think that would be good. I also thought this, let's see, Victorian parlors and tea parties would be really good. We've got all kinds of like colonial Christmas cooking, I bet would be really good. And she also has a couple other herb cookbooks that I think I would like to add. So if that's something you would like to see, let me know in the comments, and I'll go on that website and order a few more, and we'll just taste test our way through all of them. All right, I say we just go right in for the lettuce.
Okay. Smells really good.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is a BLT without the B and the T.
It's got the bacon.
Yeah, but it tastes almost identical to a BLT, even without the bread and the tomato. It's really weird, actually.
Yeah. Bacon, lettuce, and egg.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is, but it does taste exactly like a BLT, which is really weird to me. I don't know. What do you think? Like, for never having had it before, or, you know, that I can remember, I actually think this would make a really good breakfast.
Yeah, actually, I could see that.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
And you still get, like, a lot of the crispiness. Like, the lettuce is softer than normal, but it's still not like... It's still got a little bit of the, like, crispiness you expect from a piece of lettuce.
Yeah. And I think... Well, actually, before we get into that, let's go ahead and try the biscuit.
Oh, okay.
Because I've never had... I don't remember having a cornmeal biscuit before. I actually like the taste of cornmeal.
Yeah.
Like in the biscuit.
Yeah.
I actually think it adds a different level of flavor.
Yeah.
Now, I do say, I think that these would benefit from a real good slather of homemade jelly.
Yeah.
Like some strawberry jam or something.
Pretty much any biscuit would. not just cornmeal biscuit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So overall, I would say both recipes are a win.
Even though, personally, I've never had this particular meal before. It still feels like a Southern dish.
Yes, it does. That's what I was thinking too. It's got a really... It has a decided Southern twist
like
to it, like a Southern flavor kind of thing going on with it. I also think that if you have a garden and you getting some homegrown tomatoes and cucumbers in, you know, you could add some fresh slices of that to your plate, and you'd have an even better well-rounded breakfast, I think. Add some of that tomato in there and get a really good BLT flavor, you know?
The full range of BLT.
Yes!
Yeah. When I was in high school, I did a lot of like farm work with friends of mine, and this feels like a meal that I would have had, like their grandparents would have fixed us for lunch or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like just in from the farm, something that's like kind of light, on a sense, but like still heavy enough to kind of carry you for a while without having to eat again. You know what I mean?
To get
like
you to
go
dinner.
back out in the field and like not really have too much. Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
You know, as you've already seen, I went kind of more in depth on the review earlier in the video. So I'm not going to go like, you know, reiterate all that, but I do think they're really cute. The recipes really came out. And this is something, you know, from a really small, just $4 souvenir cookbook. These are actually 2 recipes I would make again.
Yeah.
So I say, you know, that's a big win.
Yeah.
For something like that. So if you are interested in these, you know, I'll have the website where you can get them in the description box below. Or if you're planning a big road trip and you're going to be seeing some historical sites, I guarantee you're going to run into these.
Yeah.
So you may want to go ahead and pick up a couple, take them home, and try them yourself, because I actually think they're really fun.
Yeah.
And it has good food.
Yeah.
So far, out of all 4 of these souvenir cookbooks that we picked up, all 4 have been winners that I would buy again.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. Now, for next week, we're going to switch it up because it's going to be our budget dinner. And you remember that bag of scraps that I have been adding to in my freezer every time I cook something? It's full. So we're going to go ahead and pull it out, and we're going to try our hand at freezer scrap broth. And we're just going to make a really good vegetable, or what I hope is a really good vegetable soup, out of our kitchen scraps and just some budget vegetables that we're going to find in the grocery store. So I think that's going to be really fun to throw together and see how that's going to turn out. So stick around for that and let's see how cheap we can make that soup. So thank you for watching this episode. Really hope you try this, especially for breakfast. I think you'll like it and we'll see you next time. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.